Was my hair braided in the last video? I don't even remember if my hair was braided in the last video. Lads, ladies, and non-binary daisies, please ignore the fact that I look like and sound like I am in a state of duress. It doesn't matter. Don't worry about it. My laptop's in battery saver mode. I should probably plug it in before it dies. Life is hard. I am going through it right now. And I believe my neighbors are smoking weed right now because it smells like weed in my room. I spent a year as an RA, so I know what weed smells like, unfortunately. So we're gonna talk about Blood Witch, which is the third in the Sweep series. There are 15 books in this series, and yeah. This video is probably not going to be very humorous, and I apologize for that. So when we left off, Sky, Hunter, and Bree and Raven were in a coven, sort of, and Raven and Bree want to erode Cal's love for Morgan. Celine Belltower, who is Cal's mom, for some reason has Morgan's mom's VOS, Book of Shadows. So we don't know why. She says that she's a collector of them, but do we believe that? Yeah. Mary Kay, Morgan's sister, wants life to go back to how it was before Morgan knew she was a witch, and I don't care very much for Mary Kay. She kind of feels like Dawn before Buffy died. Like she doesn't fully understand the weight of the fact that her sister is adopted and would like to get to know her actual family. I don't care for Mary Kay. Cal and Morgan go to Practical Magic, and that's where the two of them find out that Sky is working with Bree and Raven. Yeah. There's lots of inconsequential stuff happening in this series because it's just teenagers, and teenagers do lots of stuff that in the moment seems important, but in the grand scale of things is not very important. Morgan does she does something, and she gets some sort of omen that means death or whatever. Sky is pulling her former friends towards dark magic, something about getting Morgan's hair so they can perform some sort of dark magic. Whether or not the spell works remains to be seen, because more or less Morgan does end up not being with Cal anymore, so if their spell worked, I can't say, because as a function of the plot she has to not be with Cal, because somehow he ends up being the bad guy. I don't remember. We'll get there when we get there. So Hunter is lingering around, and he warns Morgan that Cal is dangerous and whatever. I didn't like Hunter at first, which was weird because he ends up being Morgan's boyfriend, to which I'm like, how did we go from you try to kill the person that I care about to actually having a baby with you is probably a good idea? How did we get to those two things? Whatever. It's at this point, though, that Cal starts reading a future murderer, because he asks Morgan if she wants to go to Europe for a year, to which I thought, maybe it's because I'm cynical and sad. I was like, oh, so he wants to take her to Europe, away from all of her friends and away from the people that care about her? Okay. Whatever. Bree's also coming around, because, like I said in the last two videos, don't let love get in between a friendship. Anyway, Morgan, starts scrying. I don't really know how to explain scrying. She starts scrying, and it does something. I don't know what. Yeah. She finds, a house with some stuff underneath it, and, it belonged to her mom, and she hid it from her parents, and the book ends with Cal and Hunter having a fight, and then Morgan saves Cal from Hunter. Still don't know how she decided that it was a good idea to be with Hunter after he tried to kill Cal, but we find out Hunter's deal at some point. I really hope it's in the next book. I really want to catch up to the point where I stopped reading the series last time. But Cal at this point kind of starts to become a fuckboy. He was always a fuckboy, but now it's like in the antagonist way. I feel like I almost made it through this entire video without cursing, but who gives a shit? Anyway, I guess the good thing about a channel like this is that eventually, like, I can write down what happened with Hunter and how the two of them ended up together. Because I remembered that she was with Cal for like a while and that Bree ended up not liking her. I don't remember if Bree fully comes back around. But yeah, I understand the function that Mary Kay and her parents serve. I get that. But they're not interesting. They serve as a reminder for Morgan that she's like normal and she still has like a life outside of magic, even though by the end of it seems like she doesn't. And yeah, like Mary Kay is all salty, but like there was an episode of House that talked about this. How must it seem to Morgan now that she knows that she's adopted? It seems like to her, well, like, you already have your real child and she's not a witch, so why do you need me? And I'm assuming that to Mary Kay it seems like, well, Morgan was handpicked, so why do you guys want me? But at the same time, like, they didn't seem to ever plan on telling Morgan that she was adopted, so I need Mary Kay to chill a little bit. And with the comparison that I made with Buffy earlier, don't get me wrong, I love Dawn. Dawn is one of my favorite characters in the show. But like, when we first meet Dawn, before we know what her deal is, like obviously if you've been watching the show seasons 1 and 2, Buffy clearly doesn't have a little sister. But like, when we first meet Dawn, she's just kind of aggravating. So, but most teenagers are. I include myself in that statistic. I was aggravating at 16. I'm still aggravating, but whatever. Mostly to myself these days. Yeah. One second. I like left one of my notes here for like something to say in terms of advice, but I don't remember what it is, so I have to read it myself. I'm not editing this part out. Oh, so like there are people who like, because Wicca and witchcraft are not the same thing. Wicca is a religion and witchcraft is just that, a craft. And in theory, you can be any religion that you want and do witchcraft. You can believe in whatever gods you want and pull from whatever power you think exists in the world. But like, specifically because of the witch trials in Europe and colonial America, there are people who think that Christianity and Wicca cannot exist in, no, not Wicca, but like witchcraft cannot exist in the same person. It kind of seems like, I can't fully say if Kate Tiernan is one of those people. I do remember that Morgan stops going to church eventually because it just gets weird for her. But like, let people worship what they gonna worship. It doesn't fucking matter, dude. Like, as long as they're not hurting anybody, who cares? Yeah. I didn't expect this book to take up an entire video, so subscribe.